Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Ask an Actuary. Today I'm joined by Samantha Schneider, one of our awesome actuarial consultants here at Odyssey Advisors. Today we're going to be covering a topic that's on pretty much everyone's mind, maximizing your retirement contributions. Hi, Sam. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's jump right into it. First question, and this one's a biggie. Do I really need to save for retirement, and how much should I be saving?
Yeah, unfortunately you do. So they've done some studies recently, and the most recent data we have says that Social Security is only going to last till about 2035 right now, to expect full benefits. So this is something, unless you're planning on retiring in less than 10 years, this is something that's going to affect everyone. And so saving is very important. And they suggest saving about 15% for your retirement every year.
Yeah, and 15% sounds pretty intimidating. So, what if someone can't afford to contribute that much right now?
Then I would suggest finding an amount that they can. Anything is better than nothing. If you can't contribute 15%, even 5% is something that's going to get you there. I'm sure we all remember our compound interest problems from math in high school, and that is really really the case with these accounts, especially as they last for so many years. That's going to start snowballing. So even 5% when you're 23, 24, that's going to really create a lot of money down the line in your 50s and 60s. That's going to be a big start. So even if 15% seems impossible, there are still ways around it, and you can try to contribute as much as you can.
Absolutely. And speaking of contributing, like what options are out there for people?
So the common one that everyone talks about is the 401k. That tends to be the one that most people know about and will have in their jobs. There's also things like 403b, and that's for nonprofits, government workers. You'll see that with teachers, firemen, stuff like that. There is a 457, which is for state and local government, and then top executives in those nonprofits. There's also options like an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, which you do not need to have set up through your job. You can do that all on your own.
So, what about maximizing contributions? How can somebody go about that?
So, first and foremost, I always suggest if you work somewhere that offers matching contributions, you should absolutely take advantage of that. Any matching contribution, if they contribute 100% match up to 5%, and you only contribute 2% or 3%, you're leaving the rest of that on the table. That's basically like them saying, hey, we want to give you more money. And you say, no, no, I don't want that. So, first and foremost is maximize those employer match contributions. Second of all, you can look into things. There are, of course, limits for 401k and IRA and all of that. And you don't necessarily have to hit that limit every year. For 401k, the limit is $23,000 this year, or 100% of your income. If you only earn $10,000, you can't contribute 23,000. So, there's limits. If you're able to meet those limits, wonderful. If you can't, again, try to get as much in there as you can. Anything's better than nothing. Also, things to consider: if you are age 50 or older, there's catch-up contributions. So for a 401k, that's an additional $7,500 a year. That's on top of the $23,000 limit that already exists. In addition, for say you have an IRA, there is a contribution limit of $7,000 a year. You get another $1,000 for that catch-up contribution past the age of 50. So you can potentially be saving a lot of money that way. Of course, there are things to consider, like whether you want to do pre-tax or post-tax contributions, and have a Roth IRA. If you're really struggling right now and having trouble, I don't have 15% of my income that I can contribute. You may want to start with a pre-tax contribution. That way, if depending on what your tax bracket is, let's, for easy purposes, say you're in the 25% tax bracket. If you contribute $100 pre-tax, that's only going to be a $75 hit in your paycheck. So that pre-tax contribution is going to help you kind of contribute more without feeling it. And again, especially if you're getting those matching contributions, you took a $75 hit, you threw in 100, your employer threw in 100. That's a really big deal. So there's, a lot of ways to look at it. There's a lot of accounts that you can have, and just, what's within your budget safely that you can save, knowing that we don't want to touch that until retirement.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Thanks for breaking all of that down, Sam. This has really been super helpful. And that's a wrap today. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. And as always, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like to see us cover in future episodes, feel free to drop us a comment or leave us a message, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.